And so about a week out of every month, I would lose her. And so I was looking for any reason that could potentially help her. And so in 2005, 20 years ago now, almost 21 years ago, people took us on a cruise and they brought water with them. And I thought it was the strangest thing on the planet, but it helped my wife. And I was like, what's up with this water?
Welcome to the Hope Natural Health Podcast. I'm Dr. Erin Ellis, your host. On this show, we discuss all things health, hormones, and happiness with a little side of this thing called life. Today, I'm excited to welcome a guest who's at the intersection of hydration science, innovation, and wellness technology. Echo Water is a company focused on bringing the science of hydrogen-enriched water to everyday life, using advanced technology to infuse ordinary water with molecular hydrogen in a way that's safe, portable, and rooted in peer-reviewed science. Echo's mission is to make the potential benefits of hydrogen water, from cellular support to recovery and oxidative balance, more accessible for people looking to feel better from the inside out. Its founder, Dr. Paul Barattiero, began this work out of a personal curiosity about wellness and health improvement and built a technology that now stands at the forefront of hydration solutions. Echo's innovations include smart hydrogen water bottles and systems that generate high concentrations of dissolved hydrogen, backed by research and optimized through years of product refinement. Let's welcome the mind behind Echo Hydrogen Water. Welcome to the show, Dr. Paul. Awesome. If you're just listening on audio, I have my hydrogen flask here. I've also got your hydrogen prebiotics here, so we'll talk about those. But before we dive into all things hydrogen, tell me a little bit more about your background and how you got into hydrogen water.
It all started with my queen, the love of my life, my wife. We are married now almost 32 years. It'll be 32 years next month on the 26th. But the first 10 years, thank you. The first
Congrats.
10 years of our marriage, she was really sick. Thyroid issues, gynecological issues, anemia, you name it. And she was suffering from it. And so about a week out of every month, I would lose her. And so I was looking for any reason or anything, modality, whatever, that could potentially help her. And so in 2005, 20 years ago now, almost 21 years ago, people took us on a cruise and they brought water with them. And I thought it was the strangest thing on the planet, but it helped my wife. And I was like, what's up with this water? And they're like, we don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? You said you had a couple hundred people a day buying it by the gallon. Why don't you know what it is? And they're like, sorry, we don't. And so long story short, I had to figure it out. I'm just one of those minds where I got my first computer. I opened it. I want to see what the heck's in that box, right? What's in there? And mostly it was air, to be honest, and a few cards. But once that water helped my wife, I wanted to find out what is the mechanism that actually helped her. So that's the reality for me. My brain, the way my brain works, I want to know what happened and why. And so that water they gave her had no hydrogen in it, but because it was a machine that utilized electrolysis as its technology, hydrogen was involved, but had gone out to atmosphere already. But the ORP of the water, the oxidation reduction potential, or the negative electrical potential in the water, was able to help her gut restart enough that she could enjoy that cruise with us. It was a 9-day cruise. And after getting back home, I started to do a deep dive and to figure out, wait a minute, if the hydrogen was present but isn't anymore, and the ORP that was the remaining property in the water helped her so much, what if we actually get hydrogen to be able to stay in the water? And that's really what my focus was. And of course, we figured out how to do that. And the rest is all history now. But here we are with my wife thriving and amazing 30, 20 some years later now. But, she's the love of my life. And Echo was born after healing my wife with hydrogen.
Does Echo have a
Well,
special meaning, like the name?
initially, ECHO stood for electrically charged H2O. So the E was electrically, the CH was the charge, and then the H2O. But everyone thought they might get electrocuted because it was electrically charged water. And I thought, okay, we need to change the tagline from electrically charged water to hydrogen enriched. And we just kept the ECHO name because it was a trademark already.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, usually journeys always
Yep.
start with either someone's
Yep.
health journey or a loved one's health journey. So I love that. So let's dive into hydrogen. I know it's a buzz and people are like, why should I drink it? So hydrogen is often described
Yep.
as a selective antioxidant. So can you explain what makes molecular hydrogen different from any other antioxidants and why
That's an
does this
excellent
matter in our
question.
body?
So it was surprising in 2009 when Nature Medicine published the study saying that it was a selective antioxidant. I had been talking about hydrogen in 2008, 2009, and everyone thought I was nuts. And luckily for me, this study, Shigeota published this study with Nature Medicine, and that study woke everyone up, shocked everyone, surprised everyone, because obviously antioxidants are not new. There's nothing new about that. But a selective antioxidant, now that is a significant difference. So, what do we mean when we say a selective antioxidant? We all know antibiotics, they go in and they wipe out everything, good and bad, right? Well, antioxidants can do the same thing. Antioxidants can go and react with good radicals and harmful radicals. What was different about hydrogen is hydrogen was only reacting with cytotoxic or cell damaging radicals. In other words, hydroxyl radicals, for example, that are the worst radical in the mitochondrial respiratory chain and in the body, hydrogen reacted to those, but hydrogen did not react with radicals that had a physiological role or that were beneficial to the body. So the reason everyone's so happy about a selective antioxidant is that it only reacts with the bad oxidants and not the good or the life sustaining oxidants. And that was a huge benefit. I wish we had antibiotics that could be smart like that and only kill the bad
Mm.
stuff and leave the gut alone or the good bacteria alone, but we don't have that.
Okay. It's good to know. How I guess we should talk about hydrogen and water itself because like why should someone drink hydrogen water? Let's just
Very basic. I
very
love
basic
that
question.
question. And let's back up for a second. When I say that we have a selective antioxidant, that might be a little bit over people's head. We have what's called ROS or reactive oxygen species. These are the bad guys that are creating havoc in our body. You would say that hydrogen was an ROS scavenger for those people that are a little bit egg-headed like us and have spent too much time with organic chemistry or whatever. But hydrogen is an ROS, yeah, ROS
Not my favorite.
scavenger because there are oxygen species in the body that are creating harm. On a real basic level, I want to bring this down a little bit to a 5-year-old level or whatever. Oxygen is an oxidizer. Hydrogen is a reducer. Together, when they're balanced, we have homeostasis or balance in the body. If we get too much oxidation, we have a problem. If we have too much reduction, we have a problem. We really need to balance these two forces in the body with oxidation and reduction so that we end up with homeostasis. That's really the answer. It's very romantic. It's wonderful. It's like men and women, two opposites come together and they can make something very beautiful, but they're very different creatures, right? And so it's really a beautiful thing. So
Yeah.
is oxygen and so is hydrogen. But together they create water, they create other things. So in thinking about why hydrogen, let's shift our gears a little bit and say before Dr. Paul healed his wife and created hydrogen water machines and all these things, as I had someone the other day call me the grandfather of hydrogen water, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But the where would we get hydrogen from naturally? In our gut. We create flatulence. Just like a gas powered engine, you have a tailpipe in a car, for example. When you convert fuel into energy or locomotion, you end up with byprocesses. We have a tailpipe in our car, we have a tailpipe in our body. I know that's not a surprise to anyone. The reality is, we have gases that come out of cars and we have gases that come out of us. One of those gases that would come out of us through proper fermentation or digestion, we call it digestion, but really in the colon, we're fermenting things. Clearly, we're creating gases, and you have methane, but you also have hydrogen. And that hydrogen would naturally be going into the body to modulate antioxidant pathways, oxidation pathways, or oxidative pathways. All these different pathways are managed or modulated by hydrogen gas. So, if this is the big problem, if our gut or our intestinal tract was working correctly because it had the right electrical potential and we had the right bacteria in the gut, then our bodies would function beautifully. The problem is, we have pesticides, we have heavy metals, we have stress, we have plastics, we have all kinds of things that are getting into our intestinal tract and creating problems. The most or fastest would be pesticides, chemicals that are getting in and changing the electrical potential. Also, I would say, I don't want to pick on just pesticides, but antibiotics, overuse of antibiotics. And what do I mean by that? Antibiotics are life sustaining if you have a bacterial infection that's going to kill you. 100% you need to use an antibiotic. But for a virus, antibiotics do nothing. And so we're chucking antibiotics at people, and what's really happening is it's not touching a virus, it's disrupting our entire intestinal tract, which is going to drop your immune function. It's going to drop so many systems. And really, the truth is, we're changing the electrical potential in the tissue of the intestinal tract. And what's the end result of that? We have the wrong bacteria in the gut. And to oversimplify this a little bit, you have two main types of bacteria, aerobic and anaerobic. And I just told my camera to do that. And so here, I can hopefully make it zoom in. I don't know. I'm just too dumb for my AI camera.
Okay.
But long story
You're
short,
good.
if we have the wrong bacteria, then we cannot digest food correctly. And if we can't digest food correctly, then we have big problems. And so we don't get digestion, or we have people that get diarrhea when they're eating salads, and they're like told to eat a salad because it's healthy, and you don't have anaerobic microflora to convert the fiber, so you end up with diarrhea. And you have a lot of people that are just frustrated in life because they don't know what to eat, right? Nothing's working. The easiest way
Mhm.
to fix that gut issue that was caused by an antibiotic is to change the electrical potential to a negative 300 to a negative 400 millivolts of electrical potential, which is what anaerobes want. That's the environment they want. And that's what Echo Water does. So when we process the water through the proton exchange membrane that we have, the result is water, H2O, with H2 gas dissolved in it, and a negative 400 to a negative 600 millivolts of electrical potential, which when that goes through, our esophagus, down into our stomach, then to our duodenum or duodenum, then into our small intestine, then our colon, and that electrical potential then transfers into the tissue of the intestinal tract. We've just changed the biome and the terrain by having that water in there, the echo water. And immediately you will begin to change the landscape to have anaerobic microflora come back. And now you can process fiber and fat, which is what anaerobic microflora wants to do. And we won't have so many sugar and carb cravings that come from aerobic bacteria. And so we're fixing the gut. Within an hour, that process would start after drinking Echo Water. Within 2 weeks, and this isn't a guarantee, but within 2 weeks, typically your gastrointestinal tract is mostly normalized with Echo Water because you have the right electrical potential, and all those bacteria will come back, and all of a sudden you have better energy. You don't have anxiety and depression. You're able to eat all kinds of foods and not have gluten and dairy intolerance and all these things that come. And so I know this is like drinking out of a fire hose. It's a lot to take in at one time, but that's why we would drink hydrogen water. And I say echo water because there's so many scam products on the market that say they're hydrogen water, but they're not really. That's the why. That's why you would do it, because you're restoring your body back to what it is supposed to be in the first place. You're supposed to have hydrogen because everything is dependent upon hydrogen gas.
How does what you explained for the gut play a role in hormone support? Hormone support isn't always, or hormone deficiency isn't or hormone imbalances isn't always hormone deficiency. It could be the oxidative stress,
Yes,
inflammation. So is it the same mechanism
100%.
for
So
hormone support?
hydrogen is going to change mitochondrial function. It's going to change all of your signal modulation that occurs that hydrogen does. So you have over 200 biomolecules in the body that are regulated. You've got NRF1, NRF2 pathways. You've got all kinds of pathways in the body that are absolutely being modulated or regulated by hydrogen gas being present. It requires hydrogen to be present for all these pathways to function. And when it comes to hormones, especially female, male, got hormones in both of us. It's not just hormones in females. All that hormone production, all of that starts in the gut. And by having the gut working properly, all these reactions occur properly. And when we talk about neurologic, ghrelin secretions, I don't know if you're familiar with gastric ghrelin, but that is signaled by hydrogen. So gastric ghrelin going to the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, and brain stem is because hydrogen is present. And so a lot of your neurologic issues, a lot of deficiencies, neurologic deficiencies, are because you don't have hydrogen in your body. You can produce ghrelin in the stomach or the intestinal tract. If you don't have hydrogen either place, you're not producing ghrelin. And now you're having Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, bipolar, schizophrenia, ADHD, all these kind of things that come as a neurologic issue. And hydrogen can fix all that.
You have this flask, which
12,
is
yes.
12 ounces, I believe. 12. I believe it's
3 to
recommended
6 is
5
what
of
we
these a
say.
day.
Yeah.
3 to 6. Can you
No.
have too much hydrogen? What about a condition called SIBO that
Well,
produces
SIBO
hydrogen
does
gas?
not produce hydrogen gas.
When we, I guess maybe not that. When we test for it, you're either positive
Well,
for
so you
hydrogen or
have two
methane or
types of
both.
SIBO. You have methane seeking and hydrogen seeking. SIBO
Right.
is the reason. Okay, so if you have methane SIBO and you put methane gas into them, into their small intestine, that's really what SIBO stands for, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. What it really is, if we want to dumb it all down, it's the right bacteria too far north. So we would want those bacteria in the colon,
Hmm.
not in the small intestine. And a lot of times people get SIBO because they're doing fasting and they eat fermented foods to break their fast. And the problem is the reaction occurs way too quickly in the intestinal tract, and you end up with the bacteria too far north. If someone has methane based SIBO, we can give them hydrogen water, for example, and those bacteria could care less about hydrogen gas because they're seeking methane as an energy source. If we have hydrogen based SIBO, those bacteria want hydrogen for their energy source, just like H. pylori in the stomach. You'd have the same kind of a thing. They're
Mm.
seeking hydrogen for their energy source. We're not creating hydrogen, but they want hydrogen as their food or as their energy source. And so we need to get we need to get those bacteria out of the small intestine. And we can do that with hydrogen. But if you have SIBO that's hydrogen seeking, we need to have smaller amounts of hydrogen water in the beginning because
Mm.
you don't want them taking that in and
Okay.
being happy little plump bacteria because you
Yeah.
don't have the room for it in the intestine. And so you do essential oils, you can do
Got
antibiotics.
it.
And the good news, it's one of the worst things you could ever say, take an antibiotic, really. But it will clear out those bacteria. And the good news is then you can drink hydrogen water and restore the gut terrain and get rid of the SIBO in the small intestine. So there are
Yeah.
essential oils. There are other protocols you can do to get rid of SIBO, but the problem is in the hydrogen. The problem is they like the hydrogen. It becomes an energy source for them and they're happy campers, and we don't want them happy campers in the small intestine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep. Yeah. Is there a better time of day to drink
No,
water?
but I recommend people drinking 20 ounces in the morning, 20, 22 ounces in the morning, right when you wake up, because it's going to give you nice energy. It's going to get your mitochondrial function.
Like a fasted in a
Well,
fasted
I
state?
would say 100%. I water fast 3 to 5 days. I drink only Echo water during that, and I'm hardly hungry because the hydrogen is regulating all the pathways that food and minerals would. And so I'm no longer
Mm.
hungry. And we people go 21-day fast with just
Yeah.
Echo water. They're losing 35 pounds and they wonder why they ever need food again. Eventually you will need it. You can
Yeah.
go, most of us have reserves. Just look at our waistline. We have reserves.
Oh,
Look at my
yeah.
neck. I got some reserves. Bottom line, we got plenty of fat to convert into energy, and we can go into fat burning like we should. And you can go a
Yeah.
while with just drinking hydrogen water, Echo water, and really have a nice fast. Yeah. And you won't be hungry.
Awesome. I was always wondering, I'm like, I play around with when I drink mine. I don't drink it right when I wake up, but
Yeah.
I drink water when I wake up, but I drink a flask, like, after my workout for
Yeah.
sure, and usually 2 or 3
Yeah.
hours after
No,
that, I'll have another one.
I would say drink first thing in the
Talk
morning, spread it out during the day. If you're going to do 3 fat flasks or 6 every couple hours would be wonderful.
Tell me about your hydrogen prebiotics, these sticks. Can you do these in addition to the hydrogen
Yes.
water flask?
So it's typically an either or because you wouldn't put it in the flask. You understand the drink mix is
No.
making hydrogen water, but it also has 3 very good
Right.
prebiotics. So it's going to prepare the intestinal tract to get healthy. Hydrogen, Echo water by itself can restore the terrain and the biome very rapid within 2 weeks. But having the drink mix that has the 3 prebiotics in it, wonderful fiber, it'll seed the gut. And so it'll start creating that diversity of bacteria that you want. So if someone really has a dysfunctioning gut, I highly recommend drinking Echo water throughout the day, but doing 1 or 2 of those a day to get the prebiotics in. And that's going to be wonderful. It also tastes amazing, like an apple Jolly Rancher. So it's sour apple or crisp apple flavor, but it's like those green Jolly Rancher candies we all thought were great. That's what it tastes
Mhm.
like. So for those of you that like a drink that tastes good, this is for you. And they're probably spending $2 on a poppy or some other prebiotic drink. This will be incredible to get your gut restarted and have proper prebiotics, not probiotics. These are prebiotics. So they're going to seed your gut. They're going to put the bacteria there that can live. They're not probiotics that are already done in a band aid. They're actually going to seed the gut and help reestablish the bacteria in the gut. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. My only critique is we
There's
gotta
no
get you to get
sucralose in our
sucralose out of
current
this.
version. So you have an older version that's been
Oh,
discontinued.
my packet does.
But I will
Well,
tell
2.
you, let me, oh, I don't have it with me. We now, yeah, we have no sucralose.
Good.
What is in our drink mix is thaumatin, which is a protein sugar from Africa, and stevia Rev A. Yeah, that's the
Steve,
only
okay, good.
sweeteners in there now. There's no more sucralose. You have thaumatin and you have
Good.
stevia Rev B. Just the
I wanna
trash. We'll
exchange
send you more.
this.
Or it's
I just
funny,
looked at it and I'm like,
sucralose has a slight
"Sucralose."
negative effect on the gut, but then you have prebiotics in there, so it basically wipes it all out. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So it washes it
And we don't
out.
anyone have any issues with it because there's such a small amount of sucralose in it, and yet you have the prebiotics and hydrogen to counteract it. But now we've completely gone away from sucralose to thaumatin,
Good.
Thaumatin, which is a wonderful protein based sugar. And then you have the stevia, very small amount of both of those. But the flavor is even slightly better than the original, and you don't have any sucralose or no negative ingredients. So it's been perfected.
Awesome. For someone that's brand new to this and wants to start drinking hydrogen water, what changes tend to show
First
up
day is
first?
probably sleep and energy. So within an hour, you would have an increased energy. That evening, you typically have sleep. People say, I haven't slept like that in 10 years. Those are the first. Clarity of brain within 3 to 5 minutes. If you were to do an EEG, you would see a plasticity change up to 32%. You would see normalization around 50%, 58%, alpha and beta waves. So the brain landscape will change
Hmm.
drastically within minutes. Energy levels, mitochondrial function, you would start to have clarity in the brain. People that have ADHD or ADD would feel different, and those around them would probably notice some differences. I would say that's going to be your first rapid. Within the first few days, people that have blood sugar management issues, glucose issues, would could normalize within 3 to 5 days. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but you could definitely see blood sugar or glucose management changes. Those that have
Hmm.
joint issues within the first few days, you would start to see some reduction of pain in joint inflammation related issues. These are the kind of things that you would see right away.
Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Besides your wife and her incredible story, can you tell me another amazing story of someone drinking
I can.
your water?
Probably the second time I could not stop tears when a person was
Oh.
changed. So this was years ago now, and it has been repeated since then. I was at a medical conference in Northern California, and I had a gentleman, he had his hands in his pockets, come up to the booth and say, Hey, will this help Parkinson's or tremors? And his hands were in his pocket, which is pretty typical for those that have tremors. They're embarrassed. And he was a doctor. So, of course, he was embarrassed. And he said, Look, and his hands were so shaking that we normally give out water at our booth. And if I'd have filled his 4 ounce cup up all the way, it would have sloshed all over. I took this little 8 ounce
Yeah.
cup, filled it up halfway, and said, Here, drink this, and I'm going to give you another one because I want you to get 8 ounces. So I filled it up. And I said, I want you to wait about a few minutes and see what happens. And so he's shaking and drinking. And literally 10 minutes later, he comes back and he said, I have tingling in my brain. And look at my hands. They're almost still. They were just barely moving and they were crazy before. And he goes, what did you do to me? And I said, you haven't had ghrelin secretions in quite a long time. You're feeling the tingling in your brain. I said, and drink another 2 glasses, and in about 10 minutes, you'll feel that in your feet. And he goes, okay. And he drank 2 more glasses and he came back. I'm feeling it in my feet. I said, now your whole neurologic system has just been modulated. And of course, he was a happy camper because he didn't know what to do. Who does know what to do when your hand? So since
Yeah.
then, that's been repeated
Wow.
a few times with people from Australia, people from here, wherever. And of course, they immediately get a system because they're like, what the heck? I want that. But to
Mm-hmm.
me, that's a very beautiful moment in time. And it just got emotional for me because you're looking in this man's eyes and he's looking at me, I'm looking at him, and there's just this energy and emotion that transferred and him going, thank you. And so it was cool. It was cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a great story. Thank you for sharing that. We could probably talk all things hydrogen for
Yeah.
a long more time. Maybe we'll have you back on the show, but we'll wrap it up with one
Sure.
question I ask all my podcast guests. What would be your best or favorite health tip that you could
Okay.
share
This is
with the
going to be probably
audience?
different. Get good at forgiveness. So I
Oh,
know a lot of people are
okay.
like, take this vitamin, take that. No, get good at forgiving others. It releases you and it doesn't make you weak to release other people. I falsely think if I forgive them, I'm condoning their activity, or if I forgive someone, somehow I say in my okay
Mm-hmm.
what they did. That is not at all what forgiveness is about. Forgiveness is about releasing claim on another individual. Doesn't mean you need to go around them, doesn't need you need to be near them. It doesn't mean you're condoning their behaviors, their decisions, their thought processes at all. You are simply releasing claim and letting them deal with their own actions later, but you are releasing them and it cleans you out. So you don't have to deal with the
Mm-hmm.
ramifications of holding claim on another person's life. They're going to do what they do. You do what you do. And I will tell you and promise you will feel lighter, you will feel better. And again, it is not at all about it being okay. Anyone who is abusive or has abused others, there is nothing okay about that, nothing good about that. Abuse to any level is inappropriate, but you can free yourself of the claim of their life and let them
Mm-hmm.
deal with what they have to deal with later.
Mm. Love that. Beautiful. And yes, that's a new one.
Oh, you're
Haven't
welcome.
had that on the show, so thank you for that. Dr. Paul, it's been wonderful having you here today. I really appreciate your time. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. I do have a discount link for Echo Water, so we'll make sure that we put that in the show notes with the website, all of the information. They're actually coming out with some really cool new products. So take a look at their website, get on their email list so you can learn all things hydrogen, and feel free to reach out to me at any time because I drink it and I love it. It's been awesome for me. And I wanted to mention too, it doesn't taste like
Just a
anything
little soft,
different than
little softer maybe, but
regular
that's it.
water.
We
Yeah, it tastes nope, there's no altered taste.
no.
Doesn't taste chloriney or
Oh,
chemically or
for
anything.
heaven's
It's
sakes,
literally
yeah.
just
The
water.
the scam bottles on the market actually create chlorine, so it will taste like that, but ours will not. And those that are saying, but holy cow, that's 12 ounces. I could do that in nothing. We have the Echo 40 that's now being pre-sold right
Mhm.
now. It's like a Stanley Cup. It's
Yep.
incredible. It's going to be 40 ounces, stainless steel. It's awesome. Fits in every cup holder. Yeah, we're excited about that.
Well, probably need to get one of those. So you just drink hydrogen water and that's all you drink. You don't even drink
Oh, I
regular water
do, and
anymore.
it's okay to as long as it's filtered. But yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everyone, that's a wrap. I'll see you again next week.